Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Hawaii Weather Watch. Today is November 28th, and right now we're looking at the Doppler radar here on Kauai. You can see Oahu to the right here, some heavy rain moving over them currently. There's a flood advisory for Oahu right now and for Kauai. You can see some of the thunderstorm activity out to the west right now also. And already the models are underdoing some of this precipitation, and it was probably going to be the case, and usually is with these Kona storms that they set off to the west and across some of the higher terrain, especially the high resolution models and some of the global models don't pick up just on the extent of the precipitation that will fall. Now, diving into the infrared satellite imagery here, let's go ahead and show you. You can see the developing Kona Low here off to the west of the Hawaiian Islands. And again, it's going to have that nice tropical moisture being drugged over the islands here over the next few days. We've got flood watches for all the islands now. That's been extended to all the islands. There's flood advisories again for Oahu and Kauai with the current thunderstorm activity already starting to move over the islands here. And a lot of this is a nowcast situation because it's very difficult to tell exactly where some of the heaviest rain will fall sometimes with these Kona lows here. Sometimes these bands can develop out of what seems to be thin air, and it's just a result of that strong low-level convergence and the very cold air aloft and the deep, rich moisture moving back up over the state. But a lot of times these storms can really overperform in precipitation amounts. Now, taking a look at the GFS. So this is precipitable water, and you can see that tropical moisture to the south, which is almost always there for the Hawaiian Islands. And you can see the Kona Low now spinning to the west here. This would be going on in through Wednesday night at this point, and you can see it bringing up that rich tropical moisture across the islands, spinning to the west of the islands all the way towards the end of the week here, and then some of that moisture eventually gets caught back up in the westerlies and points itself as an atmospheric river back into the west coast. But we could have some precipitation going on all the way through this weekend potentially. The European continues to show some thunderstorm activity all the way until Sunday. Now, looking at the National Weather Service wording here, you can see the flood watch again for all islands, flood advisory right now for Oahu and Kauai for the heavy rain occurring with some of those thunderstorms. Unstable air mass will be around for the next few days. It's going to strengthen and move towards the islands here. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting scenario unfolding here, you guys, because there's bound to be some surprises. Now, looking at the high resolution model here, you can see the Hawaiian Islands is composite reflectivity. This is what the Doppler radar may look like over the next 60 hours or so. And you'll notice it's already underdoing some of the precipitation for Kauai there. And it did show some of this activity moving across Oahu, but probably didn't fully capture how much heavy rain fell there or is going to. And you can see these individual showers and these bands of thunderstorms continuing to move across some of the islands and targeting the central islands, Molokai and Maui as well, Lanai. And then eventually, as we go into Thursday, the Big Island gets its turn, at least according to the North American model. Some very heavy rainfall just going to continuously bombards the Big Island there and some of Maui on and through the day Thursday. And this is, of course, going to be going on in through Friday as well and potentially in towards the weekend. Now, looking at the total precipitation, I'm going to scroll through this really quick here, and you can see just kind of some of the big variability in some of these bands of precipitation. So some people aren't going to get too much, but some areas are going to overperform what the models are showing. And I'll scroll all the way on into Thursday here, as you can see some heavy rain showing up in the North American model for the Big Island here as we go on in through Thursday. Now, looking at the lightning flash density potential, I'm just going to scroll through this because you can see we've already got some ongoing thunderstorms as we speak, and you can see this thunderstorm threat exists all the way in through Wednesday morning. Now we scroll on through Thursday morning coming up here, and then all the way on through Friday morning, and here we go into Saturday morning. You kind of get the picture here of the thunderstorm potential. And the Europeans been pretty bullish on this over the last few days, and this doesn't stop really until about Saturday night, maybe even on into Sunday morning here. And I stretch this out already to 10 days, and you can see the European showing the nice swath of rainfall across much of the islands, but this is going to vastly underdo some of these precipitation amounts over some of the higher terrain here, like the Big Island, for example. It probably is not capturing the amount of variability occurring with some of these thunderstorms. Now, looking at the European, this is a 12Z run. We're looking up in the upper levels of the atmosphere, about 18,000 feet. There's the Hawaiian Islands. You can see California all the way to the right. So if we put this into motion, you'll see again at 18,000 feet, the strong winds here associated with the Kona Low, and you can see it's spinning there. It's a fully cut off low. By the time you get on in towards Thursday afternoon, you can clearly see it there. Then eventually it tries to get caught back up in the westerlies, and then the low level flow captures what's left and kind of drifts it off to the south and west there, I should say. And yeah, so this has the potential to hang on in through the weekend a bit here. You don't want to see some of these stationary bands stalling over the islands, especially after getting heavy rounds of precipitation over the next few days. So interesting few days upcoming here for the Hawaiian Islands, definitely. And this is looking at 500 millibar temperature, just a nice visual diagram of what's going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere. You can clearly see this area of cold air just get totally cut off from the colder air up in the higher latitudes there. And you can see it spin and sit there for the next few days, get stretched out a bit, but you can see it hangs on. And that's the dangerous time as we go through this weekend. You don't want to get those stationary bands hung up over any one given area, especially some of the terrain features for the Hawaiian Islands can really generate some extreme precipitation totals. Now, taking a look at the 500 millibar heights as far as the anomaly. So check this out. If we go on into we're on into about Wednesday morning here now, and just look at how unusual it is to have one of these storms. I mean, they do happen here, but you can kind of see the anomalous nature of the upper levels of the atmosphere here associated with that Kona Low. It just kind of hangs out here for the next few days before it finally gets caught up in the westerlies towards the weekend. Now, looking at Lihui, you can see some big rainfall amounts incoming. Some of the ensemble members are picking up on some higher amounts as well, but the control and the mean are in general agreement of somewhere around 4 inches by the time you get towards the end of the system rolling through. Here's Honolulu here, and you can see around 3.5, maybe a little bit more here in the control, and the mean is a little bit less, just over 2 inches. But again, there's going to be some areas on these islands that get much higher amounts, and some places will not get quite as much. Big variability incoming. And look at Hilo on the North American model, the high resolution. By the time you just get towards Thursday afternoon, showing up over 5 inches on the latest run here. So yeah, big hit and miss coming up here with some of these precipitation amounts. And this is that flood watch in effect here, just kind of highlighting that, again, it is for all the islands at this point. It's going to be continuing on in through this week, potentially on into the weekend here. So anyway, I'll probably do another video here tomorrow, and maybe I'll start to dig up some other models here as well, look at some other high resolution stuff also. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. I'll do my normal briefings as per usual tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.